The movie has a lot of personal relevance for me, and sort of some feelings that I was going through and wanted to explore what it feels like to go through a long-distance relationship. I spent a lot of time here in the city, so I really wanted to sort of capture my experience with it.
And was it your first time shooting here? Shooting outside the US?
Yeah, it was magnificent. We just made a movie in New York, and it was really difficult. And shooting here is by far the coolest and best experience I've ever had in my entire life, bar none. The cops here are amazing. They're so helpful and nice, and it was amazing. We were shooting the shot when Anton and Felicity were walking down the street after they got married. We had a permit to be there, but we didn't have a permit to close down the street.
Right.
So there were all these cars coming down constantly, and this cop was just sitting there, and he was like, "Are you guys having problems?" And we were like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Well, close off the street." So he closed it off, and he was so cool. I wish we had gotten his name. I wish he was here tonight. Maybe he is, but yeah, he was really cool. The shooting in the city was fabulous for us.
Great. And how did you two sort of find each other? How did you come to the project?
Well,
On Facebook.
Yeah, on Facebook.
Yeah.
Well, it started with a phone call. I read the script and just loved it immediately, and I just loved the tone of it. It was immediately there on the page. And then Drake and I spoke on the phone, and we realized we had very similar ideas of the kind of films we like and the kind of films we wanted to make. And then Drake sort of said to me, "Okay, I need to see something of your work." And he said, "Will you make a tape?" So I spent my weekend making a tape in my flat in East London, just of 3 improvised scenes. One when they first meet, and then another scene. What was the other?
Phone call scene
Phone
when
call
you break
scene.
down.
And then I tried to recreate the shower scene in my own shower. Yes.
And you did it, and it was amazing.
It was a close-up.
Yeah, wait a minute.
Can I just say that?
Yeah. It was
Well, I had to do something to get it apart.
The tripod was set up, and it was in close-up. It was very similar. It was eerie how similar the shot was to her close-up in that scene. And it was magnificent. Without any dialogue, she just emoted what Anna's going through at the end of the movie in the tape. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, "Oh my God, you have to come to LA and be in my movie." It was just mesmerizing.
And it is such an incredibly natural performance, and the rapport that you have with the Jacob character too. How did
That
you
guy,
sort of
Anton
work
Yelchin.
on that? Yeah. I mean, can you talk a little about that, because you are so natural on screen together?
Well, the film is improvised, so we have there was a 50-page outline which has all the stage directions and it has the characters drawn out. But the idea is that the dialogue comes later, so that we find the dialogue through what's happening in the scene. So as long as we both have very clear objectives, then there's more freedom to let the scene happen. But I think the key was we had rehearsed for a week, and in that week we just spent far too much time together and just mapped out the characters and tried things out and did sort of exercises and just made sure that we were all as comfortable as possible with each other.
It was really a boundless week in a way. I mean, when they came, they met only 6 days before they started shooting together. So in that 6 days, they checked themselves at the door and they poured their hearts into it, and there were no boundaries, and it was okay. We're going to jump into Jacob and what's her name, Anna? No, I'm just kidding. Jacob and Anna, and we're going to give ourselves these characters in this moment. And in that week, they broke up and got back together about 8 times, and were up and down and all over the place. So by the time we started shooting, they had gone through years of a relationship, essentially.
Can I ask you a little about the look of the film? I mean,
yeah.
partly how it kind of looks visually, but also the structure and the compression, because you jump over big time periods, and that's quite a brave thing to do, but it seems to be part of what gives the film a lot of energy and makes it feel very fresh to me.
Yeah, I mean, we always wanted to handle the passage of time in a very stylized way. We wanted it to be the most stylized part of the film, and we wanted to sort of, grab the audience's hand and drag them with us and have them trust us and say, we're going to drop you 6 months, 5 months, 4 months later, and trust us, you'll catch up and we'll know where we are. So we wanted to have a very specific visual cue, so all the time transitions were very planned out and very methodical and very blocked, which is not like any of the other part of the film. In a way, Breaking the Waves inspired that, because there's these time transitions where you see these sort of landscapes of rocks or mountains, and you hear rock music, and it goes on forever, and you're just sort of like, what's going to happen next? And we sort of wanted to do, we wanted to do our version of that and sort of stylistically take the audience along with us.
Well, the film looks beautiful, I think.
Oh, thank you so much. We shot the movie on a 7D, Canon 7D, which if anyone knows is a still camera. You can buy it for like $1,500, and it takes stills, but it also takes movies, as we found out. So yeah, we're like, great. So we put film lenses on it, and our very talented DP, John Gulasarian, had very minimal lighting and a very minimal crew, and is such a huge character in the film and did such an incredible job with his eye.
And has to really help, I think, with the intimacy that there is to the film overall. And
yeah, he's like under the covers with them, so it's a very intimate experience. He really is the third character in the movie.